Yeah, welcome back. So this is okay. Let me quickly revise what is a class and what is constructor and how do you write variables. So a class you can define it by using the keyword class followed by class name and a colon. So all this indentation thing tells that this particular piece of code belongs to this class, and then you will write the constructor. So constructor is defined by uh, the underscore underscore init underscore underscore. This init is nothing but initialization in Python, and if you write something with underscore underscore, those methods start and end with underscore double underscores, then those methods are known as dunder methods. We will see few dunder methods in the end. So as of now, just think that it's some special kind of method, uh, and then this init is used as a constructor, and then you can have the uh, you can initialize the variables like this. And if you want to define a variable which can be accessed throughout the class, then you will use uh, self dot and then variable name, uh, and then with the help of this self you can access all the variables throughout the class. So let's talk about encapsulation. Yeah. So encapsulation, as you know, it's nothing but hiding the data so that it will not get modified. Let's say you defined this thing uh, in this way, the car data, and you want to change the car brand to, let's say, Suzuki or yeah, and then you can just do car dot display information. You will be able to do it. But this should be avoided, right? Because you don't want these brand names to be modified by everyone. So in that case, we will use something known as private variables. So these private variables, you can define private variables by using double underscore when you are defining them after self and dot. So this way you can create a private variable known as self dot underscore underscore, and then you can provide the variable name, and then you can initialize it to any value. Let's say, let's take an example where we have a class named bank account. Over here we have an constructor which takes in two arguments. One is account holder and other is balance. So this account holder, I am making it as a public variable, and then this balance I'm making it as a private variable. Um, and if you want to deposit any money, then you can do it. And then this private variable is accessible throughout the class, but it's not accessible outside the class. As you can see, when balance uh, uh, can balance is updated with the amount which the user wants to deposit using this method, and The logic holds good for withdrawal as well, with a simple if else condition written, where if the amount which needs to be withdrawn is less than the balance, then we will withdraw it, or else we will just print insufficient funds, and then we can get balance each and every time. So yeah, so I have initialized a uh, object. So John Doe is the account holder, and then he is creating a bank account with 5,000 rupees, and he has deposited 1,000 rupees and withdrawn 3,000 rupees. So 3,000 should be his balance. This I can access it like uh, by using the get balance method. And if you try accessing the balance amount, you will not get it. But if you try accessing the account holder name, you will be able to access this because it is a public variable. Then this variable cannot be accessed because it's private variable.
But Mahesh, we can still access it with method, right?
Yes, using method you
Um,
can access, but you can't modify it, right? Like
but,
this, which I did for uh,
but
the
if
brand.
we update the balance like withdraw and
Yeah,
deposit, it is
yeah,
getting updated.
yes, it is getting updated, but this
Then
holds some logic, right? This holds some logic.
yeah, but like if we see it as a UI perspective, user will never update anything directly to the variable. There will be a logic, and that is how they will update. I mean, anything will get updated, right? So, I'm just trying to know how it is private. Like, what are the things making it private then?
Okay, let me give you this example. Let's say you are developing an application uh, where which code base is shared with other applications as well. Okay,
Hmm.
and then um, your thing is to write this particular class and then ship it as a package.
Okay.
At that time, uh, you want to decide whether this particular private variable they should not access by using your code base. Okay, let's say let's take this example itself. You are a bank company. Okay, SBI, it will share its code with GPay, Google Pay, and PhonePe. So they can use these methods known as deposit and withdraw.
Hmm.
And along with this, they can also pass in some other login information as well.
Hmm.
Okay. And over here, this code checks if login information is valid, then I'm going to uh, update the balance information. Else, I'm not going to update the balance information. Okay.
So this private variable will get updated inside the method. It can get updated.
Yes, yes, it can be updated inside the method, but you cannot access it outside the method. What will happen if I don't use private variable and
Hmm.
if I just use the public variable is we even without this login information, they will be able to update this variable, right? Which should not happen.
But that is that they can do in a method, right? They can just
Yeah,
simply
they
give the
can
logic.
do it in a method by passing valid login credentials.
Okay. So, so Mahesh, see, I got your point in yeah, as a developer perspective, I got your point that I cannot access this variable
Mm.
outside the method. I cannot print it or I cannot update it.
Yes.
Okay, but what I'm trying to know is, so like normally if I'm a user and I'm able to update this private variable as well as from, I mean, via method, but the same thing I can do with normal variable as well, right? I mean, they have no access to all these variables and all. They don't
Yes,
do
yes.
anything. So what
In
is
general, the end users will not be able to see this code, and
hmm,
then all these things will be abstracted out, and they will not be able to see what is the variable name as well. So,
correct,
uh, this whole thing will be encapsulated actually.
correct. So that's what I mean. I was just trying to understand, like, if we are able to, I mean, why how it is more different, like, as a private, like if
Private, this thing is from developers end only.
okay.
I'm hiding it from other developers. I'm not allowing other developers to access this variable.
Okay, then it's
Okay.
fine. If they are reusing the methods and they are trying to they're reusing this class and they try to update the
Yes. Yes.
variable, or they are updating the class itself and trying to make some modification on this variable, then it will not allow them to do that.
If you do modification in the main class itself,
Hmm.
definitely you can do it. The developers can come and say, this is how I will write. Then you are good to go. You can access it, right?
Yes.
That thing is there. But that's very hard thing to do because the code base will be very huge and you will not know where and all this thing
Correct.
is.
Basically, like outside the methods, you can do nothing.
Yes, outside without using these methods,
Hmm.
you will not be able to modify it outside the class.
Okay.
And it's generally a good practice as well to write a better code by using private variables.
Okay. And why are we using this self parameter in the methods?
Hmm?
In the methods, why are we passing this self parameter?
Set
Self.
self
Hmm.
self. Yeah, I told you, right? This is similar to this in Java. In Python, we need to specify this self keyword. Uh, this says that this method which you have written is a method which takes in the particular object, this whole particular object which I instantiated called
Hmm.
account, it will be passed uh, with respect to this self. This says when I call account dot deposit, this self is an indication that uh, this belongs to this object known as account, where account holder is John Doe, and then he is trying to is having a balance of 5,000.
Okay. And what if we don't pass the self parameter?
Okay. If you don't pass the self parameter, then you will not be able to access any of the variables.
But we can access the method.
You can access the method, not an issue. I will show you.
And what if we don't initiate the method variables as self, like without self, just normal variable?
Yeah, wait, I will show you that. This normal variable, if you type, so you will not be able to access this deposit method. Let me just remove these things as well. Okay. Yeah, as you can see, it throwed you an error saying it takes zero positional argument, but one was given. What is this one? Can you tell me? I haven't passed any argument, but
Mm.
it's saying you have given one positional argument.
Can you scroll up to the deposit method?
Huh?
Can you scroll up to the deposit method?
Yeah.
Okay. What is that one then?
If you call by uh, creating an object, this method, you are calling by using an object, right? Not by
Yeah.
using class.
Correct.
So it indirectly passes the self. This self has been passed internally by Python implicitly without your knowledge. So you should write self over here. So, and then if I try running it, you will be able to see this normal var is not defined, but you have defined it over here. Why
Hmm.
this thing happened is this thing will become a local variable for this particular method. So outside this method, this variable doesn't exist.
Okay.
Okay, that's why you will not be able to access this.
Hmm. Okay.
Got it?
Mm-hmm. So do we have any other functionality like just like self? Do we have any other or it's just
Yeah.
self?
Yeah, let me uh, come to that.
Mhm.
Let's say you want to define few class variables. Okay, like you told. So you can define class variables over here. Okay, like this class var1. This is a class variable. Okay, and then this you can access wherever you want. I should give it indentation. Try running this. Why is it not defined? Okay. Okay, I will get back to this. How can we define class variable? Okay, I will tell you in the end. Yeah, or else give me 2 seconds. Yeah, whatever I written, it was correct, but this with small change. I should use self again. And you can access the class variable outside the class even without instantiating an object of it, like this.
Okay, now I am getting it. We declared this all variables inside the methods. So just like in Java, we use
Yes.
this and okay,
So
now
if
it
you
makes
want to
sense.
define any class variables, then you can do it over here. And
And
if you
this
want to
this will be
modify,
accessible in methods as well, huh?
yes, it's
Okay.
accessible inside methods as well, but with the self keyword.
Yeah.
Okay. You can just play around it to in order to get to know more about it. Okay. For example, I will say self dot class where one is equal to this is modified. Okay. And then if I write, then it is still saying this is a class variable. Why? Because I have modified class variable inside the object. Okay. Because I use itself.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't went and modified this thing.
Yeah.
Like this, you can play around and get to know.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about.
And one more thing,
Uh,
so when so basically whenever we are initializing the object, we call
uh,
it as dynamic, and whenever we call something with class, we call it as static. Like it cannot, uh, it is not dynamic basically. So it is static already. Uh,
yeah,
Everything is
you
written and it is getting executed, but in object initialization, uh, things are dynamic, right? Same in
yes.
Python.
Let me show you an example of a static method.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I have defined this thing as a static method. Uh, and then this thing I can access it via bank account. Okay. As you can see, I was able to access static method. Okay. So static methods are bound to class, not for objects. You can directly call static methods with class name dot static method, and you cannot call it with respect to by using account and then the method. This is not allowed. You will get an error.
Yeah, because account is something which we are creating the object of, right? Just
Yeah,
like
object of, and inside this, it will pass an argument known as self, right?
Hmm.
So, which is responsible for throwing you an error.
Yeah, and it will never work, right? Because account we have not initiated it, correct?
Account we have initiated, na, here.
Okay, okay, you are continuing in the same snippet.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. It will not work because it implicitly passes the argument self.
Okay, I got it.
Got
But
it?
if you call it with class, it will work.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. Next, we will see
Just a minute,
inheritance.
Mahesh.
Huh?
I have a single doubt.
Yeah.
Like for a class variable you defined, you changed it in the deposit method, right? You changed the class variable one in the deposit method.
In the
Deposit method, you changed
yes,
the class
yes,
variable.
yes, yes,
And then when you tried to print it outside the class,
yes,
it didn't change.
yes.
But what if I print it inside the deposit method?
Yeah. Over here, it got it right. This is modified.
Yeah, okay, fine. Thank you.
It got modified.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Yes.
But when you try accessing it once again, it says it wasn't modified.
Okay,
It remained as it is.
okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. And next thing which we have is inheritance. So inheritance, it's similar to Java, most of the things. You will inherit the variables which are public, but you will not inherit private variables. And one amazing thing in Python is Python allows multiple inheritance. So I will talk about it in next class tomorrow. So I have inheritance abstraction part to cover and multiple inheritance as well. So yeah, that's it for today. I will share this notebook link uh, with you. And yeah, that's it. Any doubts?
No, Mesh, we are good.